How you doing, YouTube? It's Rusty, RustysMetals.com, coming at you with a new YouTube channel, Precious Metals Hub. Um, not going to update the older Rusty's Metals YouTube channel. I'm going to start fresh with this one. I'm going to use this video to invite everybody over, so I hope that you can come aboard, subscribe, share the videos, comment, so on and so forth. The last channel was a lot of fun. Just wanted to start fresh with a new one. So hopefully you guys will come along. Last week we had a pretty big downturn in the Dow. First it was the news of tapering, then it was more like a scare tactic. Then the market listened and decided, you know, if the feds aren't going to pump this thing up, we might as well get out while we can. So you saw on Friday a good 320 point downturn, but for the full week, here on a weekly view, we had closer to 600, and that's a pretty big bearish candle encompassing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, approximately 6 weeks of action. So pretty big downturn. I would say that the market will turn bearish below 1550, right along this point. This is my trend line. I use the 34. Actually, it didn't update, but weekly trend is 34 simple moving average. It's right around there. Not a big deal. Anywho, point and figure charts, if you know how to read that, that's a pretty dangerous looking chart there. The reason why I'm doing this video is because of the slew of information that's coming out. Alright, China-Japan Cold War situation is getting worse. I guess they're arguing over resources, some islands, whatnot. And originally Japan decided, you know, it'd be okay, we can share resources, and then the US got involved. US foreign policy is just horrible, and decided to back Japan and tell Japan, you know, you tell China that we'll fight you for those islands. They're not yours. Anywho, Japan wanted to do the right thing, and we step in and cause a whole bunch of trouble, just like usual. So that's heating up, and the reason why I think it's heating up is because, you know, China and Russia are trying to get rid of the dollar, so, and replace the dollar as a reserve currency. But what's scary is the bond market. The 10-year bond yield looks like it's rising slowly but surely. But here's the chart that Jim Willey has produced. A reliable cup and handle. Reversal pattern. Uptrend hard to stop by derivatives. Rising moving averages. So target is 4%, 10-year yield. And we all know that if interest rates rise, the interest on the national debt goes up, and we owe more. If that happens, there are going to be a lot more deficits, a lot more taxes. The government's going to try to take more of your money, probably some bail-ins, and those laws are already on the books. You have to realize that if you keep cash money in the banks think it's their money. You know, it's their money. They don't care if you earned it. So pull your money out, and guess what? The Nikkei. Let's go over this real quick. The Nikkei is down overnight. The Asian markets are open, and this is as of 2 hours ago, down 400 points already. So that doesn't look good. Japanese bond yields tumbled to 9-month lows as Asian deficits are on the rise. Let's see here. Everyone's worrying about the emerging markets and the collapse of the emerging markets and the war. You can go to Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge all day today has been on fire of news. Emerging markets, HBSC imposes restriction on large cash withdrawals. Everyone's cash is drying up. Something's going to happen. There's a slew of information coming out, one after the other, one after the other. Some false information as well. HSBC halts large withdrawals. Now Lloyd's ATM stopped working. But just to update, things are back to normal. Lloyd's will gladly accept your deposits again. And that's a joke, right? Of course they want your deposits because they want to be cash rich. Because everyone is taking the money out. It looks like HSBC is going to be a big bank failure here real soon. And that was another prediction by Jim Willie, if you've been following my website. HSBC is demanding to know the purpose of the withdrawal before handing over customers' money. And you see that here a lot in America too. If you wanted to make a large cash withdrawal, you got to go through all this Patriot Act, mumbo jumbo, make sure you're not a terrorist. You know, who cares what I'm doing with my money? My money. Well, you got to realize the banks think it's their money. So you better get your money out of the bank before the S hits the fan. More news. Everyone's worried about this little bailout or credit crunch in China by some commercial banks. A lot of people think that they're just going to do a bailout and so on and so forth. But you never know what China's going to do because they don't really follow the same monetary policies as the United States. They might not do any bailouts. They might just let it crash. So everyone's worried about some stoppages on cash transfers because of this article by Forbes. But it turns out Forbes jumped the gun, and there's really no stoppage of cash transfers in China. It was just another propaganda machine at its best. And then this guy continues to say, oh, mega default in China scheduled for January 31st. I wouldn't believe it. I think it's propaganda because of this war machine. They're looking for war. And you know about currency wars. It's whoever can print the longest. And China's not as bad as we are. We reports today of a $205 trillion fiscal gap. And you can find that on SGT report. You know, about an hour episode. You can find SGT report on YouTube and watch that, or go to his channel or his website. SGTreport.com is probably the first video. So, big propaganda. HBSC, the last week's news about Deutsche Bank falling out of the price fixing in London. German regulators are investigating gold-silver currency manipulations. Word is on the street that Bank of America is being investigated for trading discrepancies. Just a slew of information just coming out all weekend. Usually don't hear anything all weekend. And then here's another one. Citibank warns the greatest monetary experiment in the history of the world is being wound down. I mean, Citibank, one of the biggest banks, or was. I'm not sure if they're the biggest bank anymore, but who cares? They're a big bank. They're in trouble. They're cash strapped. Here's another. Harvard professors predict high inflation defaults for the U.S. This came out on Friday. A lot of prominent economists, leading with Jim Willey. I've been following Jim Willey. He seems to know the inside scoop, and he's not afraid to call it what it is. He mentioned that HSBC is going to be the first to fall. And then once they start to fall, it's like a domino effect. And here we are again. Are we on the verge of a massive emerging market currency collapse? This came out today. Just a huge amount of information. Everyone is really concerned that things are just not looking good. I thought that last year, I don't know if you follow the Precious Metals Hub Hangout, I figured it would already have happened in 2013. But, you know, I'm not too far off. If this thing hits the fan tomorrow morning, I say get all your cash out of the banks. Here's another one. Financial Times. Alright, that's a big newspaper. They really know what they're talking about, so on and so forth. Demand physical gold, as one-day paper price manipulation will end catastrophically. And I just can't ignore all these news pieces coming out on the weekend when no one's watching. No one's watching this. Usually you don't hear anything all weekend. You wait till Monday and things start, you know, ramping up. But this is unheard of. So moving on, I just wanted to get this video out because it's like this last one. What's starting now will be much more terrifying than 2008 credit crisis. Alright, this is King World News. He had someone on yesterday, someone from Switzerland, asset management from Switzerland, and he's concerned about emerging markets. There is a major crisis in a number of emerging markets right now. Let me just mention a few. Argentina, they are in an absolute mess. Peso down on Thursday, 10% on Thursday alone. That's the lowest it's been in 12 years. Turkish lira, the Russian ruble, South African, weakest since 2008. Brazil, Mexico, India, Indonesia, Hungary, Poland, and of course Ukraine, which is having the riots right now, and Venezuela. These are all collapsing. They have been collapsing, and because of its currency wars, and they can print, they've been, you know, just kind of just holding it up. It's coming to an end, folks. And just wanted to get this video out there. Hope you follow me on my new channel. Please subscribe. Visit RustysMetals.com. Buy some gold and silver.